Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and I am back again with Flex Shane of the Flex Network. All of his links are down below in the description, as well as the video we did on Mr. CD Lamb. Maybe it was a day ago, 2 days ago, who really knows? But thank you very much, Shane, for coming back on. Again, in this video, we are going to be talking about Jerry Jeudy of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I'm going to read his stats off real quick of his junior season, his final year at Alabama before going into the league. So he was 20 years old, 13 total games, 77 receptions on 102 targets, over 1,000 receiving yards, 1,163, 25% target share of the offense, 75% catch rate, 10 receiving touchdowns, and he did nothing on the special teams work. The first thing I want to bring up here real quick is there's going to be a lot of debate between CD Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, and we said it in last video to Shane, it's all about the landing spot. To me, it is as well, but just something important to note here. I could probably display it on the screen. His FFPC, average draft position, FFPC, pretty much what that is high stakes type of leagues that are drafting right now. His ADP is going up and down. It's going crazy, whereas CD Lamb's is actually going higher. His ADP is going up instead of going down, meaning lower into the draft, being a higher pick. So on May 7th, he was around pick 95, and then March 14th, he goes down to 103, and then he rises again and then comes back down. No one knows what to do with these guys. People are getting in their head trying to figure out who it is the best wide receiver. So what is your favorite skill when it comes with a guy like Jerry Jeudy?
Well, I think that it's kind of interesting. So to your point, like Jerry Jeudy, I think is probably the general consensus in most NFL circles is like the wide receiver one. And what it comes down to is just his ability to run routes. It's just that crispness, that professionalism. I mean, to me, he's the kind of guy who's going to come on the field and probably from day one, he's going to make an immediate impact on his team. I mean, we chatted about it a little bit on the CD Lamb video, but this year is going to be a little bit odd in terms of getting those reps in the preseason and in training camp. But let's just assume, for all intents and purposes, apples to apples, that he had a full training camp. I would say that this, like Jeudy can walk on, and we talk about that trust. I think he could earn the trust of his quarterbacks. Yeah. It's interesting because you read off the stats, and his stats have actually gone down versus last year. But he had a guy named Tua Tagovailoa throwing him the ball last year, and that makes a bit of a difference in terms of your overall productivity. So, yeah, I mean, this guy is. I would argue to say he's like a slam dunk, right? In terms of the prospect, he's like an easy guy to look at. The only thing that maybe would give you a little bit of pause is just his overall size, right? I mean, he's not a really big guy. He's 6'1", 193 pounds, which it's not a death warrant, but it's tough. It's tough to be productive in the NFL. But a guy that I've heard him comp to is a guy like a Stephon Diggs, and I mean, he's a pretty good player. So if Jerry Jeudy turns out to be as good as Stephon Diggs, you just hope that he's got a better opportunity and he lands on a better team. But I mean, he could be productive for a long time, and he's young. He's only 20 years old right now, so he's one of the youngest prospects actually in this class. So that's great as well.
I mean, if Jerry Jeudy was more like Stephon Diggs, he would have had less trouble in Louisiana. So, I mean, that's just a funny joke right there for all of you
Saints fans. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. So something we also talk about in all of these rookie profiles is the guy's breakout age. Now, he broke out at 19.4. He is currently 21 years old. Now, we talked about this in the last video, but I'm just going to assume you're brand new. You have no idea. You never watched last video. You should. It's down below in the description. But explain again what breakout age means for wide receivers.
Okay, so essentially what a breakout age is, it means like so the way that they define it is when they have a 20% dominator rating. And the way that a dominator rating is measured is essentially like your respective amount of total team yards and total touchdowns within your team. So if you are going and you're putting up a 1,200-yard season and you're getting 8 to 10 touchdowns, that's going to be a very strong dominator rating. So the reason that a breakout age is important is because it shows that these prospects at a young age are able to come into a new system, a new college environment, right, from high school, and they can be immediately impactful on the field. And essentially what you want to see is you want to see these receivers continue to grow throughout their college career. And if you show from the very beginning, if the bar's up here and you're continuing to raise the bar, that's good, right? I mean, it always comes back to trust, capability, the ability to grow. And if these guys show at a young age that they can compete at a high level and then continue to improve, I think that NFL coaches and NFL GMs are a lot more confident that, hey, this guy's going to be able to succeed at the next level. So it makes a huge difference for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we talk about target share as well. He had a 25.1% target share his junior season. His freshman season, it was 8.1, and his sophomore year was 20.8. So what does a huge target share really tell you? It's about the trust, right?
Well, it's about trust. And I mean, the thing about Jeudy is, who was he playing with? It's another guy who's potentially going to be another wide receiver one picked in the first round of this draft with Ruggs. And, it makes a difference when a guy like Jeudy has 25%. That means 1/4 of all of the targets went to Jerry freaking Jeudy. That makes a big difference, especially on a good team like Alabama.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we talked about this in the other video as well, but with all this coronavirus stuff, it is very worrying for the rookie wide receiver hit rate. I read this in the last video, but I'm going to read it again. So pretty much, if you're drafted in the top 10, I don't think any of these wide receivers are going to fall into the top 10. Probably, obviously, Jeudy, Lamb, they're going to be first-round picks, at least to me. Probably 100% a lock. So if they get drafted in the first round, it is about a 36% chance that they finish as a top 24 wide receiver. There's a 0% chance that they finish top 12, 55% chance they finish top 36, so a wide receiver 3, and a wide receiver 4 is around 55% as well. Now, last year's numbers are going to inflate these numbers because last year the wide receivers were playing out of this world. I don't think I've seen that since it was like Odell and Mike Evans coming out looking this good. So
2014, man.
Yeah, 2014. So that also could have inflated these numbers. So what are you thinking is where these guys are going to get drafted? Like we talked about in the last video, you said the Raiders or the Jets, but what are you thinking about that?
Well, I think that's probably right around that sweet spot. I don't see them going to top 10. And I guess just to touch on it quickly is that this is maybe it doesn't have like the sizzle at the top. Like there isn't like a Julio Jones level prospect in this draft, but there is a lot of very, very good wide receivers in this class. And because of that, there's a possibility that those wide receivers could get pushed down the board. I mean, we talk about its replacement value. If you can get a guy of similar level skill and ability that you think that can come on and be like your wide receiver 1 or 2 on your team, and you can get him around later, why would you spend that first round draft capital when you can get an offensive lineman or maybe get like a defensive back in that area? So where you have to start kind of looking at it, and I'm not a professional mock drafter by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of mock drafters that I've read about have put these guys right at either going 11 or 12 to the Jets or to the Raiders. And I think that, we talked about it last video, I would probably be more comfortable with one of them falling to the Oakland Raiders versus the Jets because Jamison Crowder is not going anywhere. And the types of players that these guys are, at least in their very first year, I don't think that they're going to be able to elevate and become just like that alpha immediately, especially if training camps get shortened and whatnot. So I think that would be a good spot. And I mean, chances are that if these guys do break out, and breakout could be like 1,000-yard season or however you want to define it, it probably is not going to be until their second year. That's just realistic.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like if they're not going to be having these practices, it's going to be so much harder to develop that chemistry. You can't develop the chemistry talking to someone on the computer or on the phone. That's not how you develop chemistry to win a football game. So we're going to look real quick at year 2 wide receiver hit rate. So if you get drafted in the top 5, which none of these guys, that's not going to happen. You have let's see here real quick, my bad. You have a 20% hit rate if you are in the top 5. But if we move back to around where they're going to get picked in round 1, second year, it's about a 13% chance they finish inside the top 12 of fantasy wide receivers. 38% chance that you're a top 24 wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 3 would be around 47%, and wide receiver 4 would be 47%. And something you brought up is how deep this class is. There's going to be guys like Mims, guys like Rieger, guys like Levitic. I don't even know how to say the guy's name. Chenault. That guy, his name is very complicated, but he's going to be going later in drafts too. This is such a deep class. It's crazy, and I think that's going to impact the way a lot of these teams are going to be drafting because they might just say, fuck it, I'll wait till the second round and draft one of these other guys over wasting my top 10 pick on a guy like Jerry Jeudy when you can get someone else, even if they need a wide receiver. So is there anything else here you want to talk about Jerry Jeudy?
I mean, same thing with Lamb, man. I mean, pretty much I think this guy's going to be good no matter where he falls. Yeah. There's some teams that we'd prefer. Like if he ended up on a team by chance, like Green Bay, I would like, I think everybody would be pretty ecstatic about that if they end up with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. But this guy is going to be good no matter where he goes. And he's the kind of guy where when the ball's in his hand, he can make a play. He can make a cornerback miss, and that could lead to a touchdown. So I love it. Don't be worried about Jeudy. If you're sitting at the 1.6, 1.7 in your rookie draft and he's staring you in the face, click that button with confidence, man.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about this again last video. Draft all the running backs before you think about taking these 2 wide receivers, because this year it is going to be different. The wide receivers are not going to be hitting likely early in the draft. Again, this is something I emphasized last video. I would personally rather in a startup not draft a guy like Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb in the 5th round, 6th round, which is where they're going to go. I'd rather wait 2 more rounds, grab a guy like Tyler Boyd, a guy like Terry McLaurin, who's a second year in the NFL. He goes late there too. It just makes 0 sense because people love their shiny new toys. You brought this up. They love to just get, oh, this brand new guy. He could be so amazing. He could be this. He could be that. Whatever they comp. You said Jerry Jeudy, Stephon Diggs. This guy could be Stephon Diggs. He could be better than Stephon Diggs. Why not just take the guy you already know is good? To me, I don't understand why people think this. They just get too invested in the NFL draft. They get too invested in these guys. If you're in a rookie draft, make sure to wait on a guy like Jeudy. Draft if you're in a super flex, get the quarterbacks, then get the running backs, then get a guy like Jeudy. So you got anything else here, or are we done?
No, but I mean, you kind of just put up a good point. I mean, if you can trade, you're sitting at just a regular draft and you're sitting at the 1.6, trade back, see if you can get like a 1.9, like a 2.1 for your 1.6, because you can probably get 2 pretty quality receivers, or you can get a guy like a Keyshawn Vaughn who might fall, and then get yourself like a Denzel Mims, and you are laughing. I would much rather have like a Vaughn and Mims than just a Jeudy.
Yeah,
sure.
that makes a lot of sense, because then you have 2 chances that someone hits
Absolutely.
over 1 chance, and those guys have similar skill, especially the first guy you mentioned. I think he has a lot of skilled Mims as well. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Make sure to click on all of Shane's links. Make sure to check out the Flex Network podcast, everywhere where you can listen to podcasts, on YouTube as well. All those links are down below in the description. We are going to be making 2 more videos on 2 more wide receivers that are going to be coming out as the week goes on. So let's hope the NFL draft happens. They're saying it's going to happen. They're going to have the Madden guys come on the screen and grab the jersey from Goodell or something. I don't know how that's going to work, but thank you guys all for watching. Let's have fun. Have a great rest of your day.